Transform your small backyard into a bright, modern oasis using crisp white pebbles. This minimalist approach reduces lawn maintenance and reflects light. Anchor your space with distinct borders, create clean contrast with lush greenery, and pair with smooth pavers to keep the area visually open and inviting. In the next 30 minutes, I'm covering 10 ideas that all work together in one yard. A two-tone pebble path that makes a small space feel bigger. A small lily pond you can install in an afternoon. A stacked stone accent wall. A few layout tricks most people never think about, like mixing pebble sizes for texture and using stepping stones so the space actually stays comfortable to walk through. Every idea here uses materials you can get at a standard landscaping supply store. Let's start with the path that ties the entire yard together. This one technique does more work than anything else. Two contrasting pebble colors, laid in a curved pattern instead of a straight line. Here's how you keep the two colors from mixing together over time. You lay a physical edging strip first, either plastic or metal landscape edging, buried about 2 inches into the ground along the exact curve you want. That edging becomes the wall each color sits against, so wind and foot traffic don't push white pebbles into the gray section or the other way around. The curve itself is not just decoration. A straight line in a small yard tells your eye exactly where the space ends, and that makes the yard feel smaller than it is. A curve does the opposite. Your eye follows the path instead of stopping at an edge, and that single choice makes a small backyard read as more spacious. On cost, white marble pebbles typically run higher than dark gravel, so budget more of your total spend on the lighter color and use the darker tone to fill the larger area. That balance keeps material costs down without losing the contrast that makes this layout work. A pond this size doesn't need excavation equipment or a permit in most areas. This is a pre-formed basin, sitting mostly above ground, surrounded by a ring of contrasting pebbles to blend it into the rest of the layout. Most pre-formed basins built for a small backyard hold enough depth for hardy water lilies, usually somewhere between 12 and 18 inches at the center. That depth matters. Too shallow and the water heats up fast in direct sun and stresses the plants. Deep enough and the lilies stay healthy through a full summer. The ring of bright white or terracotta-colored pebbles around the base is doing a specific job. Without it, a basin edge looks like exactly what it is, a plastic or fiberglass rim dropped into the yard. The transition ring breaks up that hard edge and makes the pond look like it grew into the landscape instead of being installed into it. For maintenance, a small solar-powered circulator keeps the water moving just enough to stop mosquitoes from breeding, and that's really the only ongoing task this feature needs. White pebbles alone look sharp but flat. What makes a layout like this feel finished is the plant border framing it, not filling it. Framing means every plant sits at the edge of the pebble area, facing inward, instead of scattered through the middle. The pebbles stay the main visual element, and the plants act like a green wall around them. That's the opposite of a typical garden bed, where plants are the point and gravel is just the background. For a small backyard border like this, dwarf sago palm and Boston fern work well because they stay compact without constant pruning, and they hold up in partial shade near a fence line where direct sun is limited for part of the day. Keep planting distance around 18 inches from the pebble edge. Roots from border plants spread outward as they mature, and if you plant too close to the gravel line, roots eventually push up through your pebble base and disturb the layout you just built. This is the detail that makes a backyard look permanent, even when the whole thing was installed in a weekend. For a short accent column like the ones in this layout, dry stacking works fine, meaning no mortar between the stones. You choose flat-sided stones, stack them with the widest pieces at the base, and let gravity and friction hold the structure together. This method works reliably for columns up to about 3 feet tall. Once you go taller than that, or you're building something people might lean against, mortar becomes worth the extra step. It's not about the look at that point, it's about the structure actually staying safe over time. Material cost for a column like this depends heavily on stone type, but a basic dry stack column using standard field stone typically runs in the range of $60 to $100 in material and takes about half a day to build once you've sorted your stones by size. If small space landscaping like this is something you're working on, I post a new layout like this every week. Subscribe so you catch the next one, then let's keep building this small backyard. Around the base of any tree or shrub, you've got two real options for ground cover: organic mulch or pebbles. Organic mulch breaks down every year and needs replacing. Pebbles don't. A white pebble bed still does the core job mulch is supposed to do. It holds soil moisture longer by blocking direct sun from hitting the ground, and it physically blocks weed growth by cutting off the light weeds need to sprout. The difference is you're not buying new bags of mulch every spring. The setup itself is simple. Lay a permeable landscape fabric directly on the soil first. Cut a hole for the trunk with enough clearance for the tree to grow, then spread pebbles about 2 inches deep over the fabric. That fabric layer is what actually stops weeds long-term. The pebbles on top are mostly there to hold the fabric down and finish the look. One thing to watch: keep pebbles pulled back a few inches from the actual trunk. Piling stone directly against bark traps moisture against the tree and can lead to rot over time. You don't need a third color to add visual interest to a pebble area. Mixing pebble sizes does the same job using texture instead of color. The technique is straightforward. Lay larger stones, roughly 1 to 2 inches, as your base layer first. This base does double duty. It helps with drainage and it gives the area some visual weight so it doesn't look flat from a distance. Then top that base with a thinner layer of fine pebbles, closer to 1/4 inch, spread unevenly rather than perfectly smooth. That unevenness matters. A perfectly flat pebble bed reads as artificial the moment you look closely. Letting some of the larger base stones peek through the top layer in a few spots creates natural-looking texture that photographs well and holds up better underfoot, since a single uniform layer of fine pebbles tends to shift and scatter with regular foot traffic. This is one of the lowest cost upgrades in this video, since it uses the same material budget as a single layer approach, just applied in 2 passes instead of 1. A pebble bed looks great, but walking across loose gravel every day isn't comfortable, especially for anyone who deals with joint pain or balance concerns. This is where stepping stones earn their place. Space large flat stones roughly 12 to 15 inches apart, measured center to center. That spacing matches a natural walking stride for most adults, so the path feels intuitive instead of requiring people to watch their feet with every step, which matters directly for the 45 and older audience this channel speaks to most. Set each stone slightly below the surface level of the surrounding pebbles, maybe 1/4 inch, so pebbles don't build up against the edges and create a trip hazard over time. This also keeps the stones visually grounded in the layout instead of looking like they were dropped on top. For material, flagstone or large concrete pavers both work well here. Concrete costs less and gives you a more uniform look. Flagstone costs more but brings natural variation in shape and color that blends more convincingly with an irregular pebble layout like the one in this yard. Every pebble layout eventually runs into the same problem without a border. Gravel migrates. Wind, rain, foot traffic, and lawn mowers all push loose stone past its intended edge over time, and within a season your clean layout starts bleeding into the grass or the walkway next to it. A border stone edge solves this permanently. You're setting individual stones or brick pavers end to end along the boundary line of your pebble area, partially buried so about half of each stone sits below grade. That buried portion is what actually holds the line. A border stone sitting entirely above ground will get pushed out of place within a few months. Choose a border material that contrasts slightly with both the pebbles and whatever borders it on the other side, whether that's lawn or a walkway. A visible border does more than function. It reads as an intentional design choice, which is the difference between a yard that looks planned and one that looks like the gravel spread on its own. Everything so far in this layout is horizontal, paths, beds, borders, all sitting low to the ground. Without one vertical element, even a well-designed pebble yard can feel flat from a standing point of view. That's what a sculpted topiary corner fixes. You don't need a rare or expensive tree species for this. Boxwood and dwarf junipers both take shaping well and are widely available at any nursery. The key is picking a plant that naturally holds a dense, tight growth habit, since that's what makes clean, rounded shapes possible without constant corrective pruning. Place this feature in a corner, ideally near your fence line, rather than in the center of the yard. A vertical focal point works best off to the side, where it draws the eye upward without blocking the sight line across the rest of the pebble layout you've spent the whole video building. Basic shaping starts in the plant's second year, using hand shears rather than powered trimmers for the first few shapings, since hand shears give you more control while you're still learning how the plant responds to cuts. Here's the entire yard put together. Every element you just saw, the path, the pond, the wall, the borders, all working as one layout instead of separate projects. None of these 9 ideas required heavy equipment, a crew, or a permit. What changed this yard wasn't one expensive feature, it was 9 small, deliberate decisions stacked on top of each other. That's really the model for any small backyard. You don't need a bigger budget, you need a clearer plan before the first stone goes down. If you've got a small backyard and you're not sure where to start, comment which idea from this video fits your space best. I'm planning the next few videos around what people are actually trying to build. See you in the next one.